And that was the BBC's Russia editor, Steve Rosenberg, speaking to me from Moscow. We can speak now to Yuriy Sak, advisor to Ukraine's defence minister. Good evening, Mr. Sak. Who do you think's behind this attack?
Good evening, James. We are almost confident that behind these attacks are Russian citizens who are fed up with the actions of their terrorist regime, and better, as far as we are concerned, better late than never, because when in Ukraine in 2014, when our ex-president ordered the killing of 100 Ukrainian people in the central square of Maidan, now we as a country rose up and we've got rid of this ex-president because he was a murderer. Now, 200,000 Russian soldiers have been killed on the order of the Kremlin terrorist regime. And, it's actually surprising that these activities only begin to take place now.
Are you harbouring these people? Did they come in from Ukrainian territory, as the local governor is claiming?
Well, I cannot either confirm or deny this information. What I can say, though, is that we welcome these developments, and we are confident that this is not the last we have seen of these partisan, of these guerrilla movements in Russia, because it's bound to happen that way.
But would you actually actively support them? Are you actively supporting them?
Well, we are focused on the front lines. Like you mentioned in your earlier report, we are focused on the defense of Bakhmut, on the defense of other parts of the front line, as well as preparing our counteroffensive. There are certain things which, I can neither, like I said, confirm or deny, but our main focus is on making sure that the Ukrainian armed forces are prepared for the liberation of Ukrainian lands. And what happens in Russia is entirely their internal affairs. And look, what we have to say is
sorry, on that point, is it their internal affair? Yeah. I mean, is this not something that's in your interest to have these doubts and this lack of security inside Russian territory along the border with Ukraine?
Of course, it is in our interest to see Russian citizens who want to change their country and get rid of this regime, which is a terrorist regime, which is, carrying out missile attacks at our country, destroying our cities and killing our people. The sooner that regime is, deposed, the better. But like I said, our armed forces are focused on deoccupying the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. And what I would like to stress, James, what I would like to stress is the fact that Russians, the regime has immediately blamed Ukraine for this, only shows how fearful they are of the growing trend of Russian partisan movements. They are afraid because they've failed everywhere. They're failing on the battlefield. They are failing. They even, their Kinjal hypersonic missiles turned out to be not hypersonic. And now they're incapable of even protecting their own and dealing with the partisan movements inside Russia.
Well, of course, Ukraine is being successful now in getting more and more long-range weapons from your Western allies. You're also now, it would appear, going to get jets as well. But is there not a concern that perhaps taking the fight like this to Russia, and you say you can't confirm or deny whether or not you're supporting these groups, could actually backfire to a certain extent and concern your Western allies?
President Zelensky, our Minister of Defense, Alexei Reznikov, James, has said it many times, and we adhere to and we follow through to our commitments. Every type of Western weapons that we receive, we assure our allies that will be used only for the occupation of our internationally recognized territories. We have given assurances, and our partners trust us that we will never use any of those weapons outside of Ukraine, inside Russia. So that's the very clear understanding, and we see that our partners trust us.
Yuriy Sak, advisor to Ukraine's Defence Ministry, thanks very much.